Page 5, dreams bright and beautiful. 3/4 time, no sharps or flats to start with at least. Got some accidentals, so let's take a look at this. I think it's in C major. Let's see. Right hand first, 2/4. Then watch the A flat. Try and play these legato if you can with the fingers. It's a little awkward, but try to. And get the notes down at the same time. Piece of cake, right? And then you lift up, start the song. Their fingering is fine. Now a lot of this, you got two voices going on, and you got to accommodate both voices. So that second measure, second line, that A flat, hold that down the whole measure. Then lift up, and play this melody legato. And then the next line, it's not the best, but we'll go ahead with that fingering. And then lift up, hold that F down, and then hold the D down. And then again, hold the A flat down. Now watch this, 1, 2. And again, hold the E down. Isn't this fun? Page 6. And then cross, so hold the F down. You're going to use that as your pivot. You're just going to come and go from here to here. Like so, and then new phrase, lift up and down. That's a half note and an eighth note playing the same note for a half a beat. That's why there's two notes. You play them at the same time. Just hold the half note down. Like so, and then here. And I recommend a 2/5. They do 2. Oh, isn't that nice? You got to hold the C down. And then fourth finger, it's a new phrase. And for the second measure there, I recommend a 2/1. I don't have to cross over. Then I can do a 3/5. And then here. Isn't that nice? Oh boy. 1 and 2. If you can play the C major scale, this should be fairly simple. And then we go back to what we were doing at the beginning. Let's go over to page 7, third line down. You're here. Again, use the F as your pivot and come across. So it's. And then I recommend this next measure, you do a 1-3, 1-4, 1-5, then a 1-4, cross over, and then you can do a 1-5. It's the melody. I'm just protecting the melody. That's all. That's the other note's kind of there, but it's harmony. And then here, hold the C down as you, and then I do 2/5 here. And then the last measure, it is an EC, but it has an 8 VA, so you got to come up here. If you have a hangover, that doesn't work real well, but otherwise it's okay. Left hand, keep the left hand soft. And they've got these stretched chords. The first 3 notes in this thing is here, here, here. It's a tenth, an interval of a tenth. And I find this stretch with the 2 a bit much, so I tend to stretch here and use third finger on those. If it were just an octave, I could use second finger, okay, but I prefer third finger anytime. Well, all of these I'll probably use second finger, or I'm sorry, third finger. I'll use some finger, okay. That's really all it is. I'm going to try and play them legato as best I can. Go over to page 6. We've been doing this and having fun and all kinds of things. We'll go down to the third line. You're here. And for these eighth notes, and I did use second finger on that one because I'm preparing for the G sharp. Their fingering is good. Here and then here. And then we're back to what we were doing before. At the end, the bottom page 7, the last line. Same. Measure, it's a treble clef, come up to the C, here. Not 8 VA C, the 8 VA is for the top staff. This one doesn't have an 8 VA, so it's right there. I'm going to hold that note down for 6 counts instead of 3 because of the fermata, and I'm going to do this with a metronome. So work out the fingerings of each hand, then you can try putting them together. We want it as legato as we can with the fingers. Except between the phrases, you lift up the right hand, not the left, just the right. line down, left hand, that's an A. And for the most part, this is kind of repetitious, what they're doing. Let's go over to page 7. Third line down, you're here. That's why you work it out one hand at a time. Here. The last measure, it's a C, an E, and a C. It's a little shallow, but that's what they wrote, so that's what we'll do with it. Now once you get that, we can try adding a little bit of pedal. Legato pedal pretty much, except for the phrasing. I like to hear phrasing. So at the beginning, I'll push the notes down and then the pedal. Change it. I'll push the notes down and then change the pedal. And at the end of the line, I'm going to lift the pedal with the right hand so there's phrasing. Not the left, just the right. Lift up. Now, third line down, last measure here. When I get something like this, I typically won't pedal until after the second beat. I don't need to catch both of these in the pedal. I think they're yucky. So I wait until I do there, and then I pedal it, and then lift up to go on. Type thing. Top of page 6, going on. And again, at the first line on page 6, the last measure, they're showing 2 pedals. I just don't pedal the first beat. I wait until I play the second beat and then pedal it. But you can pedal both beats if you want to. But lift it up before we go on because it's a new phrase. And again, the second line, last measure. I usually don't pedal the first beat, but they're showing pedal the first beat and change it on the second. I usually just don't pedal the first beat. And that's not a phrase in the left hand, so you don't have to lift the pedal up there. You can connect that. But lift it up after you play the B, so we get a phrase break in the right hand. Lift it up. Top of page 7, the last 2 measures of the first line. I just don't pedal the first beat because it's too blurry. I don't like all that noise. I'll lift up at the end of the line, it's a new phrase for the right hand. Third line down, second measure. I just didn't pedal the first beat. If you do pedal the first beat, change it on the second. Like so, but I just don't pedal it. And then it's the end of a phrase. Here you pretty much got to pedal it like they're showing. Yeah, like so. Speed-wise, it says allegretto. I think I've been doing sort of an allegretto, about like that. Was what I'd recommend. You have to experiment with the speed on what you think it should be, and it can be different from day to day. How do you feel it? You have to feel the piece. When you add the dynamics, feel the dynamics. And they're to the melody or to the right hand, whichever. Keep the left hand soft. The intro at the beginning is sort of soft. That's the right hand. Keep the left hand soft. Now here, sort of loud. Then at at the end of this third line, you come down a little. You can read the dynamics as well as I can. They're just a guide. You got to get to know the piece and get into the music and the emotional aspect and the message of the music. Then you can feel these dynamics. And that's really what it's about. However, I would like to play it very slowly and very mechanically, no feeling at all. I'm not doing any dynamics, just notes and rhythms. If you'd like to play along, go ahead. Now, since there's a page turn, I'm going to do page 5, and then I'll stop, turn the page, count in again, then I'll do pages 6 and 7. If you're playing it for somebody and you don't have it memorized, you got to be able to turn this page without messing up the beat, because the beat's got to keep going. You can't hesitate. So you have to figure out how can you turn the page without messing up the beat. Both hands are busy. So my suggestion would be you can't leave out anything in the right hand. That's melody, you got to have it. So if you got to leave out notes, and we don't like to do that, but if you have to, you leave out notes in the left hand somewhere. And you'll have to pick and decide which notes. Maybe memorize the first measure on page 6, this part. And then go ahead and play the first note on page 6, the first beat, both hands. And then as you do this, try and turn the page with the left hand. You leave out this part to get this in. It'd be helpful if you could at least get the first beat in, because that gives the harmony. And then as you're doing that, you can turn the page and then keep going. So you have to turn the page quickly. We do practice page turns in piano when we have to. I do it all the time. If I'm accompanying people, I got to practice these page turns, so because I got to keep going. So that's what I recommend. However, for this video, we're just going to stop and turn the page. So I'm going to give 3 counts and then begin. If you want to play along, go ahead. 1, ready, go. Turn the page. 1, ready, go. Two, 3, hold, 2, 3, off.